So Nintendo's big game for the month of August for its brand new system, the Nintendo Switch 2, was of course dragxdrive, a game that when you look at it, you think to yourself, oh, well, this can't be all of it. There has to be a little bit something more to this game. I'm sure there's some stuff they're not showing us, and then you quickly realize that's not the case. What you see is what you get with dragxdrive. It is an interesting idea, and I use the term interesting very loosely. At its core, it is essentially a wheelchair basketball game, where it is a 3-on-3 wheelchair-like experience, although not very realistic to wheelchair basketball. I have watched wheelchair basketball during some NBA game halftime shows, and they're not necessarily like running into each other and jumping off of a half-pipe ramp near the goal to slam dunk the basketball, but I understand taking some creative liberties with the game. And of course, I made a video talking about the playtest that they did for this game, kind of wondering why they made a playtest. Because I feel like the playtest just reinforced all of the issues that I had initially with the game, introduced some more issues that I had with the game, and was one of those situations where I don't think the demo, or the playtest in this case, was going to do a good job of selling people who were maybe on the fence about this game to want to pick up this game and play it for $20. And I know $20, it's not a full-on experience, but when it's Nintendo and their company doing it, you expect a certain level of quality. Well, it seems like I am not alone in my disdain for dragxdrive, because the Metacritic went out today, and I want to go over some of this stuff with you guys, talk a little bit about this stuff, and come to a conclusion that I've noticed with this, because it seems like nobody likes dragxdrive except for like one segment of the world, and it's a very interesting thing. So it's sitting at 62% right now on Metacritic. In my personal opinion, I feel like that's a bit too high, and I'll explain why in just a few moments as to why I feel that is too high. But it's sitting at a 62, 4 positive, 36 mixed reviews. And you see IGN Spain, big fans of the game. dragxdrive is a title that stands out for its love of different sports. Okay, it's basketball. The game encourages you to practice and be creative to score as many points as possible, rewarding you for every step of your learning progress. It's lovingly designed, but its hardware prevents it from shining as brightly as it could in terms of controls. Even so, I can't think of a better title to highlight the new Switch Joy-Con 2 feature. Okay. A lot to unpack with this here. Lovingly designed. In what regard? In what regard? Because when you look at this game, you come to one of my main problems with dragxdrive, and that it is sterile. This is one of the most sterile-looking dystopian un-Nintendo games in the world. Where are the colors? Where are the characters? Where are the variety of different places to play on? You've done a Mario basketball game before. You've done multiple Mario sports games before, and you kind of understand that, yeah, maybe it's not the sports quality that people are tuning into with those games, but it's the Mario aspect. It's the fun pick up and play aspect that those games offer. Lovingly designed. How? In what regard? Are you talking about gameplay? Because gameplay-wise, it's very polarizing. You need to use both of your Joy-Cons simultaneously in order to move your character, and it doesn't work that great. I found better success doing it on my lap, and if I was doing it in a video or on a live stream like I was on the Spawncast, it definitely looks like I'm doing something else, but I'm not here to impress people. I'm here to enjoy the game and check out what the game has to offer. And it did work a bit better there, but it still never really feels good. It's kind of like a Wii waggle component cranked up to 1,000. You never really have super precise control over everything you're doing. The shot mechanic itself, which is kind of an important thing in a basketball game, because it's not really blending different sports together, but the shot mechanic just seems to be completely random. Like, it kind of is based on your accelerometer, but you can't, like, lay it up or, you know, put it off the backboard if you wanted to. It's just kind of a shooting motion, and depending on how much force you do is how much force the ball has when it goes towards the rim. Yes, you can do some additional things like trick shots and stuff like that to get a little bit of bonus points, but it's hard enough to control the game as it is. So we have IGN Spain really enjoying the game. Hobby Consolas, that sounds kind of Spanish to me. Ariango, I can't say that word, but like most of the positive reviews are from like foreign websites. And I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing or anything like that, but I'm just saying it's something that I've noticed. It seems like people in different regions may be liking the game a bit more than people in other regions. And you can see here we have Digital Trends, The Gamer, Stevie Orr, Vook, 7, Nintendo Life, 7 out of 10, even though you gave Madden an 8 out of 10 on the Switch too, which is bizarre. No Madden game should be getting an 8 out of 10 on any platform in the year 2025 of our Lord. Madden has been a shell of itself for a very long time, and giving the Switch 2 version an 8 out of 10 when it performs the way it does, that's a miscarriage of justice, but I believe they are a European website, so they probably don't play much football stuff. Player 2, Destructoid, IGN Brazil, IGN Italia. Like, I'm kind of shocked that there's not lower scores here, because at the end of the day, if you look online and the general consensus of not the reviewer but the consumer, it's that this is not a pleasant experience to play. If you play it on your jeans, your jeans will wear off on your Joy-Cons. There's people that showed that off too. You actually have to like set yourself up to play this game, and it's kind of similar to Wii games in that aspect where you need to kind of clear out an area. But the fact that it's being used with 2 Joy-Cons, it's kind of like, well, why not just put a standard control scheme in there? You know, you obviously are emulating things from Rocket League, and you're heavily inspired by Rocket League. Rocket League does not have some wonky control scheme to kind of show off the Joy-Con 2 mouse capabilities in order to try and sell you on the game. Rocket League controls like a normal game. And yes, there is a learning curve with Rocket League as well, but why not give the option to have a standard control scheme? What if somebody wants to come over and they want to play the game with me? Why can't I use a single Joy-Con to play wheelchair basketball dragxdrive? But here's my biggest problem with all of these reviews that are talking about the game positively, besides the fact that the game looks extremely sterile, besides the fact that it has no Nintendo charm, besides the fact that if this game popped up on something like Steam, nobody would give it a second look because of the fact that it looks just so generic and it's not really bringing anything unique to the table. To say that this is the best example of the Joy-Con 2 controller use is egregious. Mario Paint for the Super Nintendo is the best use of the Joy-Con on the Nintendo Switch 2 by a country mile until something like, you know, Metroid Prime 4 comes out. I would say Cyberpunk is a better use of this, because when you talk about something like Mario Paint, when you talk about something like Cyberpunk, when you talk about something like the upcoming Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, those games benefit from having mouse controls. The mouse controls make the experience better. It makes for a better gameplay experience if you want that. If you want to use a mouse and kind of keyboard-like setting, this is a great way to do it on console. With Mario Paint, it gives you that added layer of precision that you're not going to get in other games. dragxdrive does none of that. dragxdrive exists with the wonky control scheme just to be a deterrent to you and make you have to buy a second set of Joy-Cons. And I know people are going to say, well, why are you harping so much on a $20 Nintendo Switch 2 game? Obviously, this wasn't a big deal for Nintendo. Are you sure about that? Because they showed this off in Nintendo Directs. They did long presentations to try and sell you on this game. They did an open play test. This is the one game for the month of August. This is the third game, technically the fourth game if you're counting Welcome Tour, that has released on the Nintendo Switch 2 from Nintendo. I feel like if they didn't have confidence in this game, they wouldn't be charging you $20. And more importantly, they wouldn't be releasing it during the launch window of the Nintendo Switch 2. It just seems like you know, the team that made this game could have been doing something else. Like, go help out with a game that we're waiting for. Go, send them to Retro to help out with Metroid Prime 4. Because obviously something's going on with that. They need a little bit of additional help. It just seems like a waste. So I don't like dragxdrive. I will never like dragxdrive. I will never buy this game. I will never play this game. And I find it bizarre that the reviews are... I find it bizarre that there's any positive reviews. Like, honestly, that's just me. But I find it weird because you strip away everything, you know, strip away the weird control scheme, strip away all that sort of stuff. Let's say it had a traditional control scheme. It's still not a good game. There's still no redeeming quality to it. If this was a free-to-play game, I still wouldn't play it. There's no reason. There's no redeeming qualities. The only thing is if you like to win at stuff. Was I having fun with the game and wanting to win, or was I just wanting to win because I'm a psychopath? It's probably the latter. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on the dragxdrive situation. Do you find it weird that this is the big August game for Nintendo? Hopefully they've cleared things out of the way so they can start talking about other stuff. I know there's going to be people in the comments. dragxdrive is good, RGT. You just don't know how to play it. Okay, pal. Okay. And as always, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, and share. Hit the bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.